Looking sweetly at his opponent, Rajavi asked what he would come up with this time. At that moment, cheerleaders in costumes came to the stadium and began shouting chants. The guy realized that they were running away only to change clothes, and they also came up with a new nickname. It was clear that with such support, it would be even more shameful to lose. Rajavi was trained to block classic shots, but if he threw something unconventional, it would confuse him. For the first time, Batten tried to throw the ball using the shot put technique. Nobody knew that it was possible to throw something like that, especially since it looked strange and ridiculous. The pink-haired cheerleader passionately cheered for every victory of the main character. The next time, John used the technique of throwing from behind, which worked out well for him. I also tried the anti-aircraft gun technique, which looked the most ridiculous of all. While everyone was happy for the streamer, Annie noticed that their rivals were coming to the site. Then he yelled at Batten to stop just throwing because he couldn't even accept a pass. He maliciously addressed him specifically by name, and asked him to at least learn to dribble the ball first. Mentally, Annie knew for sure that his opponents should not know about their secret weapon. The captain of the other team saw the same clown who loves to play with machines. Batten invited him to play one-on-one since he doubts the main character. The crossdresser panicked because it was impossible to reveal the main trump card before the game. He came up with the idea that if he threw the ball at him, their opponent would leave. An orange ball flew into his jaw with a loud sound, which made the guy with gray hair laugh very much. He said it was too early for Batten to challenge players of his caliber. When they finally left, Annie asked if the student really wanted to play him one-on-one. The main character replied that this is called pretending to be a pig who threatens to eat a tiger. The streamer knows how to control himself and not succumb to the provocations of such buffoons. Tomorrow is the first match, and John needs to remain a secret weapon for as long as possible. And then he suddenly went onto the site and helped at a decisive and exciting moment. For now, he needed to practice catching the ball and everything except throwing. The next minute, the main character began practicing catching the ball. He really needs to train, because if he doesn't confidently receive balls, then there will be nothing to throw. During practice, the girls surrounded Annie and started talking about how they were also quite close to basketball and wanted to work on passing instead. He reminded them that their affinity for the sport was that they simply danced with balls in their hands. But Lyulka replied that there was nothing complicated in the passes, and besides, the girls could demoralize the enemy. Struck by the beauty of the cheerleaders, Annie nevertheless agreed to their proposal. Within seconds, Batten was training not with a crossdresser but with a support group. Seeing this, Gray, the main rival of the animation department, became very angry. His teammates were also depressed because it was impossible to concentrate on this site. Gray approached the coach with a request to find a group of cheerleaders. This confused the coach because the dean's office doesn't give out such girls. And besides, these were the protagonist's personal fans. Watching what was happening, the guys from the animation department grinned because the cheerleaders' cunning plan worked like a Swiss watch. The student praised the girls and suggested continuing to practice passing. Time flew by very quickly, and the very next day the teams shook hands at the competition. After shaking hands, the referee allowed the teams to warm up in their halves. Gray immediately got down to business and started by jumping with the ball to hit the hoop beautifully. The opposing team of the animation department knew that as long as they had Gray, they would be invincible. Having met face-to-face with Batten, the guy with gray hair ran his finger near his neck. Annie asked what this gesture meant, and the student replied that maybe he had planned suicide for the evening. The guy with blue hair thought so, and added that the poor guy doesn't even know about their trump card. Fans of the main character shouted various encouraging ditties, which Gray did not like. He turned in their direction and told them to confess who said it. Kathleen was also sitting among the fans, which made Batten very happy. Annie was very happy for the hero and asked the fans to calm down a little. The joyful basketball player immediately headed towards the stands where Kathleen was sitting. The crossdresser reminded him that the match was about to start, and the guy should return as soon as possible. With maximum confidence, he replied that the match could be read without him. After all, his trick was to come on as a substitute at a key moment. While cheering, the cheerleaders noticed that the main character was walking towards them. But the student walked by and greeted only Kathleen, ignoring the fans. Immediately he asked how the girl ended up at this basketball game. She replied that she just came to look and did not expect to see Batten here. And it was also a big surprise for her how enormously popular the main character is here. The guy didn't answer anything and went out onto the steps to ask that the entire animation department be supported, and not him personally. Lyulka looked at him, and on behalf of all the fans said that they understood everything. Batten thanked the girls because he mentally knew that their team would definitely win. After the match started, Kathleen asked why her friend wasn't on the court, and he replied that there was a time for everything. After some time, the scoreboard showed a score in favor of the animation department. There were a few seconds left until the end of time, and Gray's nerves were already on edge. He, sweaty and tired, grabbed the ball and gathered all his strength to score the decisive goal. Then he jumped as high as he could, shouting that he would score a three-pointer. But the team of the animation department was not simple, and Rajavi blocked this throw. Kathleen and Batten sat with their mouths open because this block was truly amazing. Immediately after Rajavi landed on the ground, the referee announced that the first 20 minutes was over, and the score remained in favor of the animation department. The main character noted that if the game continues in the same vein, the team won't even need his help. Kathleen asked what would happen if someone got injured, as if she knew something. His partners congratulated Rajavi, and even took him in their arms with joy. The winner said that everyone should learn from him while he was alive. And returning to Earth, he got up unsuccessfully and injured his ankle. He immediately felt a hellish pain that contorted his face, and tears appeared. The referee approached the injured player and asked him to go to the medical center. Both students were shocked because it seemed that Kathleen had predicted the future. She patted Batten on the back and said that his time for glory had come. When he stood up, all the fans shouted that Batten was the best player on the faculty. Rajavi, leaving, asked the main character to become a worthy replacement in his place. The guy said that he would not let his legacy go to waste, but Rajavi had not died yet. During the break, Grace swore at his team, because even the disabled people from the animation department are giving them trouble. The guy said that he was completely crazy, because Gray was constantly yelling and asking for the ball, and also threw from any position and did not hit the hoop. This dispute in the team was stopped by the coach, who did not approach them immediately. He said their opponent's best player was injured, so they just had to play their best. Gray immediately said that the coach was right, because Rajavi was replaced by that fat dunce who couldn't handle the ball at all. The coach only told him that this did not mean that he could now relax, and Gray should have shared the ball with number 11 more often, and not pulled the blanket on himself. The guy with gray hair clearly didn't like such statements, so he immediately tried to avoid it. Before the referee's whistle, the opponents' eyes met, and they promised to devour each other. After the whistle, the boys jumped as high as possible to bring the ball to their team. Gray managed to get the ball, and Batten just wanted to see how long that grin would last on his face. The 11th number asked to pass the ball to him because he was closest to the ring. The 6th number did not hear the coach and again said that he would figure it out himself. But his overconfidence did not lead to anything good, and the ball hit the ring without hitting it. Number 11 from the animation department team caught the ball and said that this guy missed again. He immediately passed the ball to Batten because he knew that he would definitely hit the hoop. Being in the opposite half of the field, the main character set the ring as a target and asked everyone to disperse. Soon he threw the ball with such force as if a rocket had been launched, but his opponents did not understand it. The ball flew almost across the entire field with great speed. All the players only had time to look at it. To the surprise of everyone, the team from the animation department scored 3 points, and the score was already more ahead of their opponents. The audience was completely shocked. Someone even called Batten a real cheater. Kathleen also shouted that the main character was the best on the set. The match continued in the same spirit, and now the 4th and 11th numbers faced each other. Numbers 6 and 11 from the opposing team ended up together, and their teammate didn't know who to give the ball to. They both shouted for the ball to be given to them, although the coach asked to give the ball to number 11. The poor guy was confused and didn't know who to pass the ball to, so he stood still. Batten did not waste time and took the ball from him, saying that he would be safe with him. He immediately threw it into the hoop, but in a throwing technique that was incomprehensible to others. It was a clean shot, which brought the animation department team 3 points. Annie was very happy that the shot-put technique worked so well. Gray considered the main character a freak, and did not understand how his balls flew across the entire court. The coach of the GamDev faculty team told everyone to block Batten's shots. The guy with gray hair immediately stood in the block and thought that this would interfere with the student. But the main character was not an ordinary guy, and therefore no block prevented him. He masterfully threw balls into the hoop in any way, even through the legs of his opponents. After some time, the referee announced that the game was over, and the animation department won with a score of 42 points. All the fans were delighted and praised the main character more than anyone else. His teammates said he exceeded their most optimistic expectations, but the joy was interrupted by an angry Gray who grabbed Batten by the shirt. He asked if he was pretending to be a badass in basketball on purpose, to which the guy just grinned. Nerves were on